Welcome back to the Enfield Talking newspaper. Now we return to local news with Sally.
A group that helps look after a park is calling for public support for its bid to transform a dull green space. Firs Farm Park in Winchmore Hill has applied for money from the Mayor of London's Big Green Fund to improve flood relief and cycle paths throughout the park. Now it wants the public to vote for the scheme, which will include new wetlands. Tony Guiver, founder, member and the chairman of the Friends of Firs Farm Park, said, "This is a golden opportunity to help transform a dull green space into an exciting area for everyone. The aim of the Friends of Firs Farm is that more people will be able to access and enjoy our park, to cycle, run, jog, or just sit and watch the wildlife, to stroll along the paths, taking in all the new wetlands and surrounding area will have to offer. This project has much to offer the community in terms of health, recreation and education. It is a very exciting project and the Friends hope that you will help the quest to improve this green space for everyone." Councillor Chris Bond, Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, said Enfield Borough Council has worked extremely hard with the Friends of Firs Farm Park to get this much-loved open space shortlisted in the competition. "We are up against 6 other parks London-wide, so I am calling on all residents and people interested in our green spaces to get voting to ensure Firs Farm is successful. Our bid will see vital work taking place to build a flood relief scheme and cycle path to ensure Firs Farm Park is even more accessible. We have the support of our partners, the Environment Agency, Thames Water, Sustrans and Thames 21. So don't waste any time. Get your vote in for Firs Farm Park. To vote, visit www.london.gov.uk/Big Green Poll.
England's international football squad could soon be having cosy sleepovers in an underground lodge in the north of the borough after a planning application was given the nod. The 45-room lodge will be built on the site of Middleton Farm in Balls Cross as an extension of the current Tottenham Hotspur training facility just south of the M25 in Whitewebbs Lane, Enfield. The rooms, which, according to planning documents, are strictly single occupancy, are needed to allow the club's first-team players to sleep between double training sessions. A single training session on average lasts between 2 and 3 hours. The rooms that will be housed in a partly submerged 2-storey semicircular building with a roof partly made up of grass and flowers to blend in with the surroundings will also be used so players can stay together before home matches or before matches away to other London clubs. The rooms will also serve as a base for overnight stays for the senior England team when they are playing at Wembley the next day. The current farmhouse on the site will be demolished as part of the building work. In documents that accompanied the application, English heritage officers voiced concerns that the new facility would destroy the character of the site, pointing out the potential negatives of knocking down the barn and outhouses on the site, which form an aesthetically pleasing group. A statement from English Heritage said, "Its appearance does provide a contribution to the conservation area, and in particular the covered passage at its northern end is an attractive feature worth retaining." However, Chase Ward councillor Vicky Pite lodged her approval for the plans and said that both the garden centres in Cruise Hill and the proximity of the M25 are much more damaging to the character of the green belt than the proposed Spurs facility. In relation to the issue of preserving the protected species of great crested newts on the site, she said, "Great crested newt conservation is a highly technical area, and I can only comment from the perspective of a graduate biologist trained in ecology that the Great Crested Newt plan seems plausible to me. The application was approved subject to the completion of a legal agreement and referral to the Mayor of London.
The mother of a heart transplant patient who is recovering from a rare disease held a fundraising dinner dance to raise cash for an Enfield charity that helped her make the transition from parent to carer. Tree surgeon Aidan Fallon was just 25 when he was diagnosed with giant cell myocarditis, a life-threatening enlargement of the heart, in February of last year. There have only ever been 300 recorded cases, and the cause of the disease is unknown. Aidan was fortunate to receive a donor heart on February the 17th, but the family and friends were devastated when the disease returned. It was then that she found Enfield Carers Centre, a charity based in Baker Street, Enfield, set up to help those who care for others. The £1,173 raised by the event, organised by some 90 friends from Enfield-based Leslie Mitchell Fitness in Beach Avenue and held at the Enfield Conservative Club in Baker Street on January the 23rd, has been matched by Santander and will be split between Breast Cancer Care and Enfield Carers Centre. Linda, a visiting lecturer at Middlesex University School of Health and Education, told the Advertiser, "They don't know what causes the disease, but Aidan was fortunate to receive a donor heart on time, and he was treated quickly at Papworth Hospital, which is the country's largest centre for heart and lung transplants, on February the 17th last year. It was a very difficult time. Enfield Carers Centre were amazing at that time when I was breaking down and crying. They stopped me from falling apart and helped me to cope and manage better. They provided counselling for myself, and my husband had couples counselling too. There are no support groups as the disease is so rare." Aidan, who trained at Capel Manor College in Bullsmore Lane, Enfield, now works for Natural England on some of Britain's ancient woodlands in Stroud, Gloucestershire. The disease is being managed with medication. Danny Newland, an advocacy officer at Enfield Carers Centre, said, "We are absolutely amazed at what Linda has done for us. She came to us and said she was doing it, and we are very grateful indeed, as she didn't have to do it. We are here to support families who are affected by medical conditions and support them through the caring process, as well as helping them to get the benefits they deserve."
New friendships and even the odd romance could blossom for teenagers with special needs at a Valentine's night disco being held in Enfield's Jacobean mansion. 40 Hall in 40 Hill is the venue for an evening of dancing and music on Saturday, February the 14th, when disabled teens and those with special educational needs can meet others of their own age and have fun. It is being organised by Wannabe Friends, part of the Learning for Life charity, with support from Enfield Council. Event organiser Julian Halford, Community and Enterprise Manager at Westley School in Hazelbury Road, Edmonton, said, "We chose 40 Hall because we know it will be a safe and secure place for young people to come together without their parents, particularly with the new disability access and provision. It's a wonderful place to start something new." Rahini Simbadile, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Culture, Sport, Youth and Public Health, added, "There is clearly a need to give young adults with special needs activities where they can have fun and meet others locally, and this disco does just that, in beautiful surroundings. You will need to book quickly to ensure a place. Tickets cost £10 per person, aged 14 to 19, and include a supper. Doors open at 7:30 and it runs until 10 p.m. To book, call 020 807 2656 or email jhalford@westleyschool.co.uk.
A public footpath and cycleway in Southgate has been reopened. The Cheney Walk open space in Grange Park has been closed since May 2013, when the Environment Agency began work on Salmons Brook to alleviate flooding. David Burrows, Enfield Southgate MP, cut the ribbon to declare the space officially open. He said, "It is important to mark the significant flood alleviation scheme, and as far as my constituents are concerned, the relief that completion is in sight. My constituents can now look forward to using this valued open space again." The construction work at Cheney Walk and at the adjacent Enfield Golf Club has provided a flood storage area to hold back heavy flows in the Salmons Brook when there's heavy rainfall. Caroline Douglas, area manager for Hertfordshire and North London, who hosted the event, said, "I am pleased that we could mark the handback of the pathway and cycleway to local residents. We are aware that such major construction work can cause local disruption and thank residents for their patience. I can assure residents that we will continue to maintain a presence on the site while completing the landscaping work. In the meantime, we are protecting the newly planted grass to ensure it gets well established. The open space will be restored fully in the next few months, and then the public will be able to enjoy it to the full."
People looked on in horror as a fire ripped through an Oakwood street. The blaze damaged the roofs of 2 properties in Lindall Crescent, Oakwood, and also gutted the first floor of a 3rd property. Ivan Turner's property suffered the most damage. He was woken up by what he thought was a burglary at 5 a.m. to find his home on fire. Mr. Turner, 52, said, "I ran upstairs to grab a torch thinking I was being burgled and saw smoke pouring out of the loft hatch. I was worried about the neighbours because all our roofs are interlinked, so I ran downstairs and switched off the gas and electricity and then banged on all their doors to make sure they knew what was happening. Then I had to stand out here and watch my house burn down, but at least nobody was hurt." Some of Mr. Turner's neighbours were woken up by the smoke, heat and noise of the London Fire Brigade attending the scene. James Headley, who was staying at his mother's house across the road from Mr. Turner, said, "The smell of the smoke and the noise of the engines woke me up at about 5 o'clock. The roof was absolutely blazing, and I could feel the heat from the fire from my bedroom window. It's definitely the biggest fire I've ever seen. It's a blessing nobody was injured. I've been running tea out to the firemen all morning, and now I've run out of milk." Another neighbour heard Mr. Turner's roof collapsing. She said, "The smell of smoke woke me up at about 5:30 a.m, and at first I was worried it was my house." A total of 4 engines and 21 firefighters from Edmonton, Barnet and Southgate fire stations attended the scene at 5:36 a.m. and managed to get the fire under control by 7:24 a.m. Mr. Turner and his partner recovered what belongings they could as investigators began the process of finding out what caused the fire.
Children who might shine on stage or behind the scenes can benefit from a group's help. Razzmatazz Theatre Group in Southgate is welcoming children who are looking to learn new skills, with 2 children being offered sponsorship for a whole year free of charge. The scheme, set up by Cali Kids Sponsored Child, will see 85 young people across the county benefit from the scheme, which offers opportunities to take part in one of a range of activities for free for a whole year. Cali Kids founder Karen Bach said, "Inspiring young people to take part in new activities is pivotal to everything we do. Not only does it further their skills, but also helps nurture their confidence and social skills. I would encourage families to take a look at the sponsorships on offer. It doesn't cost anything to look, it doesn't cost anything to apply, and if successful, it doesn't cost anything to take part."
Former Enfield town manager George Borg has been suspended from all football activity for 5 matches after being found guilty of aggravated misconduct. Borg was charged by the Football Association following an incident during Town's match against Wingate and Finchley in August last year, which led to him parting company with the club. An FA statement said Mr. Borg was alleged to have used abusive and or indecent and or insulting words towards Wingate and Finchley supporters, contrary to Rule E3. It was further alleged that this breach of Rule E3 was an aggravated breach as defined in Rule E3-2, as it included a reference to ethnic origin and or race and or religion or belief. Borg, who has been doing part-time coaching with Essex Senior League outfit Burnham Ramblers, denied the charge and requested a personal hearing, at which he was found guilty by the Independent Regulatory Commission last week. He was also fined £275 and ordered to complete an education programme. However, Borg remains adamant that he was severely provoked by a section of the Wingate supporters and claims that the Commission agreed with his view of events. He said, "I want to put out this statement, which was from my hearing on January the 26th. It states, we were comfortably satisfied and the FA accepted that he, Borg, was provoked by sustained, disgusting and indefensible abuse, a deal of it deeply personal. It was in that context that he, Borg, acted out of his normal character. I'd like to thank the players, staff and great supporters of Enfield Town Football Club for the backing in this difficult time of my life. I have great memories of the great times last season, and I did what I said I would. We stayed up. I want to wish Bradley Quinton and the staff and the players good luck and hope you get into the playoffs. I hope to get over and see you all again soon."
Enfield squash player Alison Waters felt that she dealt with beating world number one Nicole David at the Tournament of Champions in New York better than she had done before, although she lost to Raneem El Walili in the final. Waters, 30, won the first game of the final but was beaten in the next three to lose out to Egyptian El Walili in 48 minutes. The highlight for Waters was her quarter-final win over world number one David, who has enjoyed the upper hand in their recent contests. Waters said, "Yes, it was a great moment. She's been world number one for 8 years, and that was only my second win over her. Mentally, it's a tough one as well, as there is such a high after winning that sometimes it can be tough to get ready for the next round. This time I dealt with it better, and mentally felt in a good place." She added, "Squash seems to be getting much more coverage in the media, which is fantastic. I think if you beat Nicole, it's always going to be big news, as she doesn't lose often. The more the papers can give squash coverage, then it's a win-win situation for us." Waters said, "I'm delighted with the tournament. Obviously losing in the final was disappointing, but there were so many positives during the week. To beat Nicole David was amazing, and then have an epic semi-final where I saved 3 match balls. It was a very good week for me. The second game in the final was close, and if I could have got that, then who knows what could have happened. After that I got quite tired. I had some tough matches getting to the final, and it took its toll in the end. Raneem is a great player and played very well, so it was never going to be an easy one."
A big-budget dramatisation of the haunting of an Enfield home, which made headlines around the globe in 1977, is set to be aired later this year. The Enfield Haunting charts the bizarre case of demonic possession in which an 11-year-old girl repeatedly appeared to levitate above her bed at the home she shared with her mother and siblings in Green Street, Brimsdown. The children complained of their beds shaking and furniture moving and marbles and Lego pieces being hurled across the room by what the family were convinced was a poltergeist. The authenticity of the case has been questioned, but no proof it was a hoax has ever been found. Sky Living's supernatural drama, The Enfield Haunting, includes a stellar cast including Timothy Spall, Juliet Stevenson and Matthew McFadden, as well as Olivia award-winning actress Eleanor Worthington Cox in the lead role of Janet Hodgson. Spall, who has been tipped to scoop up more accolades for his role in the film, plays Maurice Gross, a paranormal researcher who strikes up a connection with Janet when he investigates the strange happenings at the Hodgson family home. McFadden's character, Guy Leon Playfair, is Gross's sceptical co-investigator. Playfair's book, This House is Haunted, has been adapted to form the basis of the drama. Worthington Cox, who shot to fame after starring in Matilda the Musical, said, "Working on the Enfield haunting has been an amazing experience. The role has been both challenging and rewarding. I've got to work with so many fantastic actors like Timothy, Matthew, Juliet and Rosie, and I've worked with an amazing production team. I can't wait for it to be on Sky Living in the spring."
Plans to build a new primary school on open space could be approved despite anger from people living nearby. People living near Ladysmith Road open space in Edmonton are outraged by the possibility of the loss of the space after it was sold to St John the Evangelist Church. The plans submitted to Enfield Borough Council will see a new school for 420 pupils built on the site, including a multi-use games area and soft and hard surface play areas. The building would be 1 and 2 stories high and have car and cycle parking access from Albany Road. Planning officers have recommended approving the application, part of the Meridian Water Master Plan, which will see thousands of new homes built, as well as schools and a train station. Members of residents of Edmonton Angel Community Together, REACT, are furious that the open space could be built on. Group Chairman Grace Camel said, "We are now set to lose the only green space in this part of the borough. Where will our children play now? The alternative is to cross a dangerous A406. We feel we have been robbed of this land." Plans were due to go before Enfield Council's Planning Committee. A petition against the proposal has generated more than 250 signatures, and many have objected to the application. The petition reads, "It is inappropriate that the land should change use from a well-developed and maintained park to a built area that the public will be excluded from. This will deprive people of the area of all ages and backgrounds to the park, which has been enjoyed as a public amenity by the locals in the area for 23 years. Visit www.enfieldindependent.co.uk for the latest updates.
Plans for a multi-million-pound cycling scheme will be revealed to the public early next month. The Cycle Enfield scheme saw the borough win £30 million from Transport for London to revolutionise cycle routes in the area. Several Cycle Enfield Partnership board meetings have taken place discussing the possible options for each town centre. The first event will take place at the Fox Public House in Green Lanes, Palmer's Green, on Wednesday, February the 11th. Other events will be held at the Dugdale Centre in London Road, Enfield, on Tuesday, February the 17th, Community House in 4 Street, Edmonton, on Monday the 2nd of March, and the Ordnance Unity Centre in Hertford Road, Enfield, on April the 2nd. All the exhibitions will run from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Enfield Borough Council's Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, Councillor Chris Bond, said, "This is an opportunity for residents to see our exciting proposals for Cycle Enfield, ask questions about them and provide their own early views on challenges and opportunities. We've attracted significant investment into our borough, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to revolutionise cycling in our borough. Enfield Council is absolutely committed to improving our cycling network, transforming our borough for residents and getting more people on their bikes, therefore improving air quality and their health, and Cycle Enfield will be integral to that process."
Work has begun to build the first council homes in the borough for 30 years. Developers have moved onto the Parsonage Lane site in Enfield, one of 7 areas that will see 94 homes comprising 37 affordable homes and 57 private rented properties. Letters were delivered to residents around Parsonage Lane to confirm work had begun on 29 new homes on that site. Enfield Borough Council struck a deal to build the new homes with Kier Property in October last year.
Tesco has removed sweets and chocolate from checkouts at its stores. The firm's 12 branches in the borough are among 500 in London to have removed the sweets to promote healthy living. David Wood, Managing Director of Health and Wellness for Tesco, said, "We hope this will make our customers' lives easier, as taking sweets and chocolates off the checkouts will really help parents with young children. The response we've had from parents has been positive, so it will be interesting to see if other supermarkets follow our lead and do the same thing."
A new games area is set to be installed in a Palmer's Green Park after it received a £45,000 grant. 5-a-side football pitches and a basketball area will both be upgraded at Hazelwood Recreation Ground in Hedge Lane after it received the money from the London Marathon Charitable Trust. Enfield Borough Council's Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, Councillor Chris Bond, said, "It's vitally important that we instil in residents, and especially young people, the importance of keeping active, and the Council is playing its full role in this by providing a range of activities in the borough so people can get off the sofa and get moving." We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Sally, Colin and Keith and Robin on the controls, it's goodbye.